Hello, my beautiful souls, and welcome. So, with today's message, I have a very, very strong intention that this is going to find the people who are part of this collective, who are ready. You are so ready. And when this message is for you, you know what I mean when I say that. You are so done and you are so ready. When I tapped into this space, I could tell that there was this part of the collective that I'm connected with. That is like I said, you're so ready and you feel like change is just around the corner. And you've been working on it for so long. And there is this huge cycle that you know has run its course. It's just time to release. It's just time to let go. And you are so ready for whatever is waiting for you beyond that. And you know that you're ready. The thing is that there is something that is kind of, I don't want to say holding you back. There's still also not to release. It's a part of you that is sitting in, I hear, under an invisibility cloak. There's something in the dark. I'm calling it the dark. In the unseen. Thank you, that's a better word. In the unseen. That is, it's something that has to come with you, but it cannot come with you in its recent form. So for you who are ready, who is ready to step into the new, to step into your new cycle, into your new adventure, the reason why you were not able to do that yet is because there is something, a part of you, that is not quite there yet. It hasn't found its final form for now. In order to come with you. The thing is, you cannot go without it. So you are kind of stuck in this in-between space, in this limbo phase, where you feel like you cannot go back, but you can also not move forward. It feels like you're stuck. But what you probably observe in your life is that there are many persons, situations, maybe also pretty sure there are also inside fears, topics you thought like, I've dealt with those things. Why are they coming up again? Like you have a lot of those things popping up in your life right now. And it feels like you're being tested. And although I hate that word, it is, you could view it as kind of like a test. But what it's actually doing is those quote unquote tests are showing you what is hiding beneath that invisibility cloak. Because you're not able to see it, it's inside of you, but you're not able to see what it is, you need the universe to mirror back to you what it is that you cannot see inside of yourself. And this is why it is showing you in the outside world, sometimes also in the inside world, by, like I said, fears, certain thoughts. I hear monkey mind. Yeah, an overactive mind. Belief patterns or belief systems that, like I said, you thought I've dealt with those things. But suddenly they're coming up again and you have to deal with them again. And you're wondering why. Well, because they want to show you something. They want to lead you to a place inside of yourself where there is something hidden in the unseen. And I am quite honest, this is a topic that keeps coming up over and over and over again, more intensely over the last 2 weeks. I'm going to link one up here that's especially, like, that's actually really dealing with this topic of something is hiding in the void. But there is like a bigger topic that's present, like omnipresent on my channel, in my own work, and what I can see in the collective at large, in the whole world outside. Like, it's everywhere. This topic is everywhere. And that is the merging of polarities and the need to bring polar aspects together to remarry them, to bring together what was separated in order to become whole again. And for the collective at large, and like the micro reflects the macro reflects the micro. So for us as individuals, we all have those parts inside of us that are split, that are separated into polarizing opposites. And for certain parts, it wasn't safe to stay in the conscious. It had to I'm sorry, I'm seeing the visual. I'm kind of trying to get the word. It had to retreat into the darkness, into the unseen, into those dark spaces that hold the forgotten parts of ourselves, that hold, they also hold the mysteries, they hold the collective unconscious and our personal unconscious. And this is why you cannot see it. This is why you're not able to pinpoint what's going on. Like, why can I not leave this thing behind, this old cycle behind? Why can I not progress on my journey? And you know that there's something you still have to see, and you know that you cannot see it. And it's frustrating, because there's this feeling of, how am I supposed to work with that if I can't even see what's going on? So if there's something hiding in the dark, if there's something in the unseen, it's I mean, how can you see something that is invisible? That's what, like, the definition of this thing is that it's invisible, so I cannot perceive it, I cannot see it. So this is the reason why the universe is showing you in the external world, and or in your internal world, but disguised as fears, intrusive thoughts, nervous system reactions, all those uncomfortable experiences that we like to push away, or that we try to maybe resolve, overcome. And we think, okay, now I've overcome this, so I can just like move on. But we actually haven't really understood that it wasn't really the fear itself that we had to release. It wasn't about the emotion. For us who are rather further along on their healing journeys, we are used to, okay, I have to observe my emotions, I have to release them, I have to transmute them, whatever, and that those are very valid practices. But it's possible that right now it's not so much about releasing those fears, emotions, thoughts, whatever is coming up, but to actually realize that they are trying to show you something. They want to direct you to a place inside of you. There is this, like I said, there is a part of you, a fractal, that was separated, and that was at some point in the past, in this life or past lives, whatever your belief systems is around that, were shoved into the dark, into the unseen. And this part is not able to communicate with you directly. So there will be different ways that your higher consciousness, the universe, your spirit guides, whatever your belief systems, your philosophy, your worldview is around that, is trying to show you what it is that's there in the unseen. And because it cannot communicate with you directly, it will use different ways of communication. And like I said, it could be the incredibly annoying neighbor that is always too loud, and no matter what you do, they are just always turning up the music at 11 p.m. or I don't know what your neighbors are doing. Or it's like this really, really arrogant colleague that is always like, who is always putting you down and giving you like the feeling of you're not as worthy, you're not as knowledgeable, you're not whatever. Or it's maybe your mother who's always criticizing you for your looks or for your life choices. You name it. But it can also be the anxiety about money problems, financial problems, although you actually worked on your money mindset and you know that this is something, like, you know, like, I have done the work. I am, like, inside, I'm so ready, but somehow my maybe financial stability or my love life or my friendships, they don't fit. They don't mirror what's happening on the inside. So those are all different kinds of ways that they are, like, trying to communicate. There's this part inside of you that's trying to communicate to you, hello, I'm here. You have to acknowledge me. You have to look at me. Please look at me. And so that's the first step. So to realize that there is this part, that it's there. And then what you have to know is that this is probably, certainly a part that you don't like, that you don't, you don't really see the value in it. It's something you have worked very, very hard to overcome, maybe. It's something you might perceive as bad or weird or weak, or it's just driving you up the walls. It's something usually it's something you resist. Sorry, I got distracted there for a second. Okay, I'm just hearing right now attraction. If you are incredibly attracted to something, if you have like a regular obsession with something, that can also be a like finger pointing to that thing inside of yourself that you are not acknowledging or that you haven't yet integrated. So that's just another way of showing it. So that threw me out there for a second. Can it please be put back in? So yeah, there is this thing about you, like I said earlier, it's part of you, it's part of your past, and you have to make your peace with it. You have to make your peace with it. Otherwise, you will not be able to move on. And the key is making peace with it does not mean that you have to say it's good. It's like, I agree with it. It's my way of living. That's not what I'm saying. It's simply that you accept that it's there. You accept that it's part of your path. It's part of your past. It's part of your experience of what you learned on your journey. And you simply say, okay, it's part of me. And now I have the power of choice, what I want to do with that. For many, it will be something that is reflected in your birth chart and is reflected in your south node. And for those of you who are into astrology, you know that the south node is something that is in your roots. It's in your, some even say like in your past life. It's where you came from. And it's something that helps you, if it's integrated, it'll help you to grow into your North Node, which is your North Star, your Polaris, which is the name of my channel, Light of Polaris. Because this is what we are here for. We are here for to grow into our North Node. But in order to do that, to become the version of ourselves that is really able to hold everything that is in this North Node, we have to integrate what's in the South Node for us. But it doesn't mean that you have to get stuck there. It doesn't mean that you have to make this the center of your life. Not at all. It simply means that you took it in as part of yourself, as something that is part of you, not external of you, not separate from you. You release it from the dungeons, from the cell it was incarcerated for so long. And now you can bring it back into the light, and you can bring it back into yourself, and you become whole, because also the parts that are in our subconscious that we at some point separated and pushed away, those are also parts of ourselves. This is basically a soul retrieval. You are calling home a fractal of your soul, but it will be a soul retrieval that is not going to be easy, because it is a part of you that you naturally resist, that you maybe even have a strong aversion to, sometimes even hate. Sometimes there's so much hurt in there. Maybe you rebel against it. Maybe you before I came in or became on here, I also felt a lot of, there was a lot of fear. And I've been experiencing this over the last few days, where I could already tell that we are collectively working through those energies. We are working with those deep hidden parts, sometimes ancestral. It can be something that has been present in your family lines for generations. It probably is. It's very likable that it is like that. Very likely, not likable, likely. So it's quite possible that there are very challenging emotions in there, like fear or anxiousness. What I want to say is, give yourself time. You don't have to solve this riddle now. By acknowledging that there is something in the unseen is the first step. Just saying, okay, I know that there's something I cannot see, and I'm trying to look at it, but it's somehow escaping. And again, I did another video on that topic a few days ago. I'll link it somewhere in this video. Sorry, lost my train of thought again. Yeah, so the first step is to acknowledge that there's something there. Okay, this obnoxious neighbor of mine who's always too loud, I choose to not get hung up on the story anymore, and I simply accept that he and his loudness is trying to show me something. And so I'm able to hold space for that. And instead of getting too involved in the 3D story, too much hung up on this getting lost in the story that our lives are, I am okay. Imagine that you are like we used to do in school when we had, I don't know, like a play or a novel that we should analyze. And we were stepping into this role of looking at the characters and looking at the archetypes and saying, okay, so this is the villain, this is the hero, this is the maiden, the mother, whatever. And try to look at your life and like the characters you're meeting, to look at them in an archetypal way. How do they make you feel? What kind of adjectives would you give them? How would you describe them? What kind of archetypes can you use to describe them? And then you can use that information to look for those archetypal energies inside of yourself. And it's very probable that you have, like, when there's a certain archetype that is interacting with you, that you have the anti-archetype, or like the other side of the story, overly active inside of yourself. Let's say another example. You're always having like trouble with your mom, and she is a person who is like trying to do everything right. And I don't know, she's very like active in church community, and she is just like this well-known and perfectly, like this perfect white West good person. And maybe you have a tendency to rebel against that. And you're always in conflict with her about those things. And look inside of yourself where maybe you have this archetype of, I have to be good. I have to be this perfect person. And either it's like that you are trying to people please or like making everything right, for example, or you're overly rebellious. It can show up in different ways, but I think I hope I'm making sense, and I hope that you understand what I'm getting at here, that maybe if like you have this pure mother figure that you could say, okay, that's a resemblance of Mother Mary. It's like this perfectly pure mother figure. And it's interesting that she's coming out because she was mentioned in another reading the other day. And I said there will probably coming out more with that. And in Christian belief, we don't really have a shadow archetype to Mother Mary. But when you look deeper, there actually are some in the Bible. For example, Mary Magdalene could be seen as like not an antagonist, but she's like a different side of the feminine archetype that is basically a prostitute. So she is very much another extreme of Mother Mary. They even have almost the same name. but they are split apart in two feminine archetypes that are mirroring like two different aspects of the feminine. But in Christian belief systems, Mary Magdalene was something that had to be pushed aside because it's not what the idea of the perfect woman was. So look for those aspects inside of your life. Look where like people mirror back to you certain archetypal energies, or also where your own emotions try to show you something, show you some of those energies. And simply by starting to look, simply by asking the question, you don't have to get it right away, because this can become very, very confusing, believe me. But simply by opening up to it and just ask the question, maybe also inside, say like, I'm wondering who you are. I want to get to know you. And it's interesting because there are like those little burps coming up. And it's almost like, yeah, something wants to come up from beneath. Like I said, this part is trying to communicate with you. It just doesn't feel heard or seen. So if you just start looking for it, it will find you, or you will find it. It will make itself known. And you have help from ancestors, spirit guides. They sent this message to you. Today I got this very, very strong intention of recording this message. And I can feel you. I can feel the collective this is meant for. I know you are ready. You know you are ready. The only thing that is standing between you and like this new beginning is this part that wants to come with you, but it cannot come with you in this non-integrated form. So, yeah, I thank you for being here. I thank you for doing this work, because I know that this is work that is sometimes very hard, and it's a kind of work that's highly unusual in like the broader society, and that many people do not understand what this kind of work entails. So I just want to say to you, like, I know how hard this work is, and it's something that deserves to be acknowledged and seen. And I just want to say thank you for doing that, and thank you for having the bravery to look at in those places and to do the work. And yeah, I will be here bringing through more messages and trying to help and guide in those spaces. I work a lot in those spaces, so yeah, I hope this helped. If you have any questions, if you have anything to share, I would love to hear from you. And I'm just checking in with your guides if there's anything else that they want to say before I close out. No. We are done. All right. So, thanks again. And like I said, I would love to hear from you, and maybe hopefully see you in the next video. Take care.